and Sally meets Frau, a rabbit man, and offers him a carrot. Frau follows her to a village where they are welcomed by the local lord. He tells about the village's problems with demons and mentions Mikoto's recent visit. During the night, a demon attacks the village. Frau saves Sally and is expelled by the lord. However, Frau surprises everyone by thanking the lord and leaves with Sally. Before we continue with the video, don't forget to hit that like button, share the video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel to help us keep bringing more summaries like this one. Now, let's get to the video. Outside the village, they are captured by the Knights of Rimdarl. After being freed by Hawthorne Greydor, a knight, they are attacked by a large Oni. Frau fights the Oni, while Sally seems paralyzed by fear until something mysterious happens. Meki is under a tree, surprised to find out she is not alone when a mysterious figure appears. She tries to use her power, accidentally cutting the tree. The stranger introduces himself as Mikoto Kibitsu, a demon hunter, and they talk while waiting for their powers to regenerate. Meanwhile, Sally continues her battle with Set, the giant ogre walrus, who is delighted at the opportunity to face two strong opponents. Meki reveals to the stranger the reasons for the Oni attacks on the city, which involve the destruction of nature by the human castle. After a brief moment of recovery, Meki tries to attack Mikoto, but he incapacitates her and leaves her unconscious. Sally faces Set, resisting his attacks until she finally defeats him, fainting afterward. Mikoto then wounds himself to provoke Meki and reveals his hatred for the Oni, mutilating her before leaving with his companion dog. Later, Sally wakes up in the company of Frau, being led by Hawthorne to a cell where they find a girl suspected of being an Oni. After a brief discussion, they decide to help her escape. While trying to escape, they are intercepted by Hawthorne, but Frau incapacitates him. However, before they can escape completely, the city is suddenly destroyed. Hawthorne wins a tournament, but his friends seem bored. Sally, Frau, and Carrot comment that he was lucky due to the weak opponent. Sally sees Mikoto in the crowd and catches up with him on the street. They talk about Mikoto's financial difficulties due to Milia, who consumed all his money. Meanwhile, Milia fights in the arena, irritated at having lost her Oni powers. Sumeragi talks to a mid-Oni about the strength of their opponents. Jutsulino, an Oni goddess, appears, and it is revealed that Sumeragi is hosting an Oni assembly. Sumeragi announces that Mikoto is responsible for many deaths, provoking Todoroki's fury, who had feelings for Meki, one of the victims. Todoroki decides to kill Mikoto. Elsewhere, Hawthorne meets Jutsulino, who demands to be carried. Sumeragi introduces himself as her guardian. He asks if Hawthorne will participate in the tournament, telling Jutsulino that he can support him. While Milia prepares to fight, Mikoto encourages her from afar. Hawthorne overhears Jutsulino in the crowd, and Sally is approached by Sumeragi, who shares his goal of peace between Oni and humans. Mikoto warns her to stay away from Sumeragi, revealing his nature as a high Oni. Sumeragi offers Sally the chance to cooperate to achieve his goal, while Mikoto encourages her to choose the side of her friends. Sally finds herself facing a difficult choice. Sally escapes from her father's guards to explore outside the castle and meets Mikoto, asking him to lie to the guards about her whereabouts, which he does. The guards, thinking Mikoto is a traveling woman, warn him about the dangers outside. Sally appears and introduces herself to her new friend. The next day, Sally discovers that Mikoto is a boy and invites him to return to the castle in exchange for telling more about his travels. Inside the castle, the king meets an Oni demanding human tribute. A knight is decapitated, and the Oni leaves, concerned about Mikoto. The king advises Sally to start her own journey, and she rushes to confront an Oni that appears nearby. Outside the castle, the horde of Oni decides to cancel their plan when they discover Mikoto's presence. Sally screams for Mikoto to leave, and he confronts and massacres the horde, revealing a desire to kill Oni. Back at the gate, Sally is conflicted by Mikoto having saved her kingdom brutally. She dreams of him a month later, deciding then to cut her hair and embark on an adventure to see the world, with her father's surprising support. In an unknown town on a full moon night, a woman is attacked and killed by a mysterious figure. Meanwhile, Sally and her companions hear reports of vampire attacks in the town they are heading to. Upon arriving in the town, they are greeted with hostility due to the presence of semi-humans. Frau decides to buy provisions while Carrot accompanies her, but they are treated disrespectfully by the locals. Carrot decides to look for the vampire responsible for the attacks, while Sally has a traumatic memory moment when she sees a seafood stall. Later, Carrot finds the vampire, Kyuketsuki, who agrees to help her kill the humans in the town, but also wants to kill Sally. Frau is killed by Kyuketsuki during a fight, which angers Sally, leading her to fight the vampire. Meanwhile, Frau wakes up in paradise and receives an offer of power to regenerate herself. She returns to life and fights against Kyuketsuki, managing to gravely injure him before fainting. The vampire reveals that he hid his true nature and lived among humans but ended up killing his fiancée. The group prepares to take Frau away before dawn. Frau wakes up and finds Atra by his side in bed. Atra explains that Frau fainted after the battle and was carried to the inn room. She mentions that Sally and Carrot went to buy carrots while Hawthorne is keeping watch outside. Frau thanks her for temporarily removing his power. Atra suggests that they were companions, and Frau corrects her, saying they still are, leaving Atra blushing. Hawthorne enters the room, surprised to see her back to her original form. Carrot and Sally buy carrots, and Carrot asks Sally if she killed Set. Sally confirms and says she only uses her power when necessary. They are interrupted by a vendor who insults the semi-humans, and Sally punches him. Atra sees Kuketsuki's spirit and discovers that his body is being burned by the crowd. He says he would like to be there when it happens. In the inn room, Carrot suggests leaving, as the soldiers may be looking for them after the incident with Sally. Mikoto and Dog find Milia, an Oni girl, in the forest. She joins them after confessing her true identity. The next day, they are attacked by an Oni who tries to kill Milia. She injures herself to try to avoid being captured, but Mikoto saves her. Milia wakes up in the inn, thanking Mikoto for saving her and introducing herself. She expresses her hope for a peaceful journey together, but Mikoto corrects her, saying it's not a journey for two girls. Carrot, Frau, and Sally face Somenki. When the powerful enemy is about to attack, Sumeragi's voice appears in his mind and prevents him from hitting the young girls, ordering him to retreat. The group, along with Hawthorne, go to a town where they stay at an inn to talk among themselves and find something to eat. In the village, Sally meets Mikoto. They talk about the decriminalization of semi-humans and how they both have a past related to prejudice and hatred. After the conversation, Mikoto says goodbye and doesn't even look back. This action makes Dog curious why she is doing this. Mikoto then responds saying that Sally proposed that Mikoto accompany her on this journey, but she refused. In case she looked back at Sally, her heart could weaken and she would accept the offer. For this reason, she is running away. Sally returns to the room, rejoining the group. Upon arriving at the location, she meets a boy named Hawthorne, who claims to be a survivor of the destruction of the Rimdarl kingdom. He tells them that a witch used a spell on him and made him teleport away from the kingdom. While the group talks, Carrot meets Sumeragi in a forest. They make a deal, in which Sumeragi would give her a great deal of power as long as she watches over the group, informing him of everything that happens. The next day, the group stands in front of the witch's house, in a large tree. Amid a choice, Sally chooses Mikoto, a choice that Mikoto did not expect, and rejects Sally. While they were talking, enemies invade the city, causing the two to split up to fight the enemies. Hawthorne meets an enemy named Todoroki, starting a conversation as they prepare to conflict. Meanwhile, Frau confronts another enemy named Basso, and Carrot decides to talk to Shiki about this invasion, but the dialogue turns into a fight. Once upon a time, in a distant land, there was an elderly couple, a man and a woman. One day, while the man was gathering firewood on the mountain, the woman was washing clothes in the river. Years later, the couple bids farewell to their son, giving him a katana and dumplings for the journey. The young man, named Hiko, meets a talking dog who joins him on his journey. Hiko and the dog find a village being attacked by an Oni. Hiko defeats it and is called Peach Boy by the villagers. Rumors about him killing an ogre spread. Hiko decides to kill the leader of the Oni and goes to Ogre Island. After winning, he becomes a hero. Hiko meets an Oni named Gaki, who asks to be killed. Hiko discovers that Gaki killed his human wife. Hiko decides to take care of Mikoto, Gaki's son, who had been abandoned by the villagers. Hiko teaches Mikoto to read and hunt. Mikoto reveals that he is also an Oni, but with a special ability, Peach Eyes, which allow him to see the true form of people. One night, a horde of Oni announces the arrival of Kinshin, the god of noble laws. Hiko is mortally wounded by Nobrega, but transfers his powers to Mikoto before dying. Mikoto, now with Hiko's powers, kills Nobrega in revenge for his master's death. Milia, an ally, finds Mikoto unconscious and takes him away. Winnie gives Hawthorne a powerful sword called Air, a treasure from paradise. Winnie adds that Frau used to possess this mysterious sword. This sword would be able to cut through anything. The protagonists manage to individually defeat each enemy. With the conflict over, Todoroki is taken to a room to treat his injuries, and he is completely relieved that Carrot is fine. Winnie says goodbye to the group, using a magical portal to teleport herself. Todoroki does the same, saying goodbye to Carrot and setting off to pursue his own goals. As he leaves the city, Sumeragi takes his own life. The group goes to Winnie's bar, where Sally asks her a favor, to teach her magic just like her, an unusual offer, but Winnie accepts, imposing several strict rules. Winnie's training begins, with various challenges that she must complete to become even stronger. Challenges involving sword training and racing. While they were training, an ogre and an elf ask for help to defeat an ogre that is sealed in a tree. When they arrive at the location to plan, several creatures come together to achieve this goal, including Milia. Demonstrating her intense side, Milia attacks Sally, but she easily uses her power to unleash a powerful attack, easily defeating Milia temporarily. The sealed ogre begins to advance, attacking with its roots, but Sally, still determined, uses her brute force and manages to defeat it. With the ogre defeated, they set off on a new adventure, thus ending the first season of Peach Boy Riverside. That was today's content. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to share the video, leave your like, and stay tuned for the next video. Take care.